So welcome to our second class on energy sensitivity and the role it plays in your life currently, and maybe the role you may want it to play in your life. So we're holding that space, especially because we're sensitive to energy. We're holding that space grounded in the sacred ground of sovereignty. What that means is we claim a field of energy that cannot be interfered with by outsiders as we work. We have the extra protection of the guardian circle around us. And as we work, I'm going to ask our groups, our teams, to put around that cocoon a hazmat suit that will absorb any contamination energy, that will have as clear space as possible as we gather here together. And in that cocoon, in that hazmat, in the sacred ground, we bring in secured channels of energy, bringing into you and into your space, energy of home. And that is energy of all aspects of good, in the right balance and proportion for you as we converse and share today. And just let that energy move through your crown chakra, right down the midline of your body. The power center is being activated. The energy moving out the soles of your feet to create roots, to energize the roots that are already there, that are yours. That these roots now contain the energy of this day. The vibrations, the songs, the dream that's unique to you, right down into Mother Earth, where there's security there, where there's a rich environment, where there is a root system that we're connected to as women in this circle and beyond. So that we are free here to let our curiosity, to let our exploration, to let trying on new ideas be safe. Our circle is set for that purpose. We call on the Mother Earth to hold us and feed us with that purpose. And we are ready for the day. So here we are. We had one class. And what I want us to do, I'm going to open this space and realize that we are holding space for each other to say what they need to say. And we are here to hear what they're saying. We're not here to agree with them, disagree with you. It's just like, here's a neutral space. This is what I need to say. The field we've created, this energy field we have created, will take what is said and work with it in your behalf beyond what we share, okay? So we're here to hear and to practice listening. If any of us, which happens in our lives, if something is said and it's a word that is normally going to trigger us, or a look that's going to trigger you, that's your responsibility. And it means like, oops, I'm out of whack. You'll know what trigger, flood, whatever. And if that happens, then it's your responsibility to realize that it's a seed within you that's being awakened. Great. Write in your journal what triggered you, because you're going to handle it with your tools so that you can say to that message giver, I got it. I'll be dealing with you. I'm not going to leave you behind. But now you can calm down so that you can get back into what I'll call good mind to be present for the rest of the class. Okay. Granted, this isn't a class that I think will trigger each other, but nevertheless, it is a field of responsibility for your own energy that says it's important, but the message is for you. Write it down so that you can then work with it offline so that you can be back present with us. Okay. Always, we're going to go around, taking turns. And in this class, we'll take turns by tagging each other. When you're tagged, you do not have to, you can say, hey, thanks, I'll pass, and I'm going to pass to so-and-so. So you can share or you can not share. Totally fine either way. So what we're going to do now, and is I'm going to ask a question for you to share in this larger group so we can all hear from each other. And what I want, and it's valuable to me, so this question may be more for me, but it's never just for one person. We all learn. So what I want to know is, what has been your experience, either from the class last week and or from walking forward, trying any of the processes, trying bringing your energy field closer into you so you have more awareness of your field. Anything from your experiences at class or the week that you want to share into the group. And we'll take about 1.5 minutes each. And again, we'll go around tag fashion. And one very important thing is that, again, whatever we share in this circle stays in this circle. And we're only here to hear. And so it's not about any kind of label judgment. This is where a person is. This is where you're at. And we hold that space of love you well, love you whole. That's what we hold. So it's a rocking time, isn't it? It's a rocking time. Now I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll talk about where we're at, where we're going today. Sensitivity to energy is a divine gift. And I think some of those who've been sensitive go like, oh, well, take it away. I don't want it anymore. Let's put on that hard shell, Risa. Let's just block it. Well, how about that we might be in a time when we can design a plan? And that's my proposal, that we're going to design a plan. So we're going to move to this slide and go back a little bit in relationship to what we talked about last week. And I'm going to describe this a little bit because Andrea is on the phone. We have an energy flow that's us, that current, like the energy current of that comes to your light switch, and you turn on the light switch, the current was always there, right? And it's connected beyond, way beyond. And those who understand energy would go like quantum, probably. They have an idea. And you're the same thing. You are an alive energy that moves through you and there's a currency, there's a frequency, there's a vibration, and that vibration has various speeds. And in this spiral that we're using, the speed that's very, very fast is discerned with our spiritual sensing system. That would be like 7/8 dimension. It's the intuitive sensitives. That's where we usually, would say you're empathic, because nobody believes you because they don't have any idea. They don't discern it. It's as if it doesn't exist for them. And as it slows down, it's then picked up and held in the emotional body, and then impacts the mental body. And then down here in the 3D dimensions, 1, 2, and 3, is where we see the energy has now slowed down enough to be a form. And that form is now in your world. It may be in your life situation. It might be in your body, but it's somewhere. We have always, I'm going to say we, meaning those of us who have been curious, seekers of truth, personal growth, all kinds of names. We understand that there are patterns that are held within our personal energy field, and there are patterns held within the female psyche field, of which we're a part, of the field of humanity, of which we're a part, and we kind of have an understanding of that. And some of those seeds in our model, the little blue ones, are gifts. They may be skills that we've had in other lifetimes, experiences, connections to people in other lifetimes that bring value. There are some seeds that we've marked as red, and those are what I call negative karma. They are patterns that will bring us down, will constrict our energy, will cause us to be less than who we are for whatever reason. They exist in our energy field. And these little parasitic types, well, I've changed the shape and color, you'll see these little brown ones representing a whole different energy. The little red and the little blue are coming from our divine stream from home. And when we're in alignment, in harmony with our divine, and we might feel joy, and we might feel creative, and we might feel happy. It's like that's our wholeness. But we're not always that, because we have these little experiential seeds that knock us off, that say, are you sure you know what you're doing? And then we go into what we'd call fear. And so these little blue and red represent love, wholeness, blue, fear, doubt, red. And that's what is termed duality. There is a third stream of energy that we talked about last time, and they come from families in the galactic worlds, because it's in the galactic worlds way before Earth ever existed, where societies or families who in that world chose to experience domination, and their agendas were to dominate others, to use others' energy to their advantage. So they are parasitic by nature. And what we have been kind of wiped from our knowingness is that they exist. So we've been we've been surviving under a false sense of energy. Our energy fields are very contaminated with these outsider parasitic types that have a vested interest in keeping us in duality and confusion, because then we have no boundaries. I have Swiss cheese boundaries, and that allows them to move into our space in order to use our energy. And it's been going on from before our planet was even housed by us. So we, meaning those divine families who want to get themselves aligned and in their frequency of wholeness, that knew before Earth, we knew we had to get rid of, clean out, if you will, all forms, influences, energy, vibrations of those outsiders' agendas. And the real purpose of this planet is that. So when you stop to realize that the purpose of this planet, it's the first purpose of this planet, is to design what will help you thrive, because you're here. And the second purpose of this planet is to have the sensitivity to understand and feel the different frequencies. What is love? What is fear? What is outsider? Why? So you would have the authority voice to say to, if it's love and it's out of balance, I bring you back into balance. I understand who you are. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to identify your pain, and I'm calling in all necessary to bring you back into balance. If it is an outsider, the same voice says, I know who you are. You're an outsider, and you're not allowed here. You are now moved back to your home of origin. So we knew the energy field was contaminated. Our sensitivity, and that's especially a gift within the female body, was to identify outsiders and call for their removal And then that would allow the love frequency to hold steady as the fear out of balance frequency could be brought back into the same resonance. Is there any questions about that? First of all, I'm going to stop sharing. So your sensitivity is a divine gift, and its purpose is to help navigate the field for sure, but also not just navigate and not just survive, but to bingo, 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 that which is destroying us. So any questions at that point, to this point? Okay. And I'm going to go back to share screen. Yes, Denise.
So calling it back to balance, is that done just like through meditation, or how do I do that?
That's a really good question.
Am I jumping ahead?
No, I think it's a good place for it, because there's a lot of processes that will do that. In our work, Deep Six is a command that brings into play a lot of specific requests. We work on the law, ask and you'll receive. So we ask, and that brings in teams that starts healing what is out of balance. Hapona, Deborah M is really good about that. That's another amazing process about bringing things into balance. So, but the problem becomes if the outsiders still are there, they're going to keep knocking you off. That's why understanding that they are there is really, really important, because if we don't get rid of them, if you don't get rid of them in your space, all you do is end up in a constant trying to keep yourself in balance. And they are committed to keeping you unbalanced and weakened. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions at this point? Okay, I'm going to go back. And now this is why it's important to know this part. Now, one of the tools is a reality statement and reality shift, because our voice of authority speaks the end result. It speaks and we're listened to. So as you're walking this contaminated field that I'm showing here, this spiral, how do you walk this field? Because this is not only you, extended out into all of the world, and the whole world is like this, and we're walking this field. It's like a minefield. Well, we were never intended to walk this life alone. There are spiritual beings available in the unseen, unlimited, that are absolutely ready, knowing how to help you not only walk, but get the tools you need, have the communities you need, etc. And so the place to begin is say, I have spiritual teachers and guides who have the qualities of. So I want you to just, because in the unseen world, in the spiritual world, you can't look at their credentials. They are unseen, but they have a vibration that's identifiable. And the vibration has a quality that's identifiable. So if you were to say one quality, let's just work with one quality, because you'll get this handout, that the quality of my spiritual teachers and guides, that what they bring into my life is. And I want you all to get one quality and write it down. That this is what you are requiring. That your spiritual guides, your spiritual teachers bring this quality into your life, and write it down. Now that's a reality statement. The quality that my spiritual guides and teachers bring into my life is. It's a beginning point for really everything. Your design is a choice. Now I'm going to walk you through the reality shift, because that's how you take your choice, work with your spiritual team to make it effective in all of your energy fields. So read your statement. The quality my spiritual and teacher guides brings into my life is, and then I'm going to go, and we're going to call in our spiritual team, and we're going to say, move my consciousness, that entire spiral, move my consciousness into this chosen reality. Bring this chosen reality into the experiential energy field of all to whom I'm connected in love. So you and all to whom you're connected, brought into this field. Deep 6, which is a command that says whatever needs to be healed that can be healed quickly, do it. PTO, anything that is outside of it's there, move it out. Deep 6, any energy configuration that would keep it from us. So you're calling for our general across the board deep healing, energetic removal of outsiders. And I ask my design team, because you have one, they helped you make this plan for life. I ask my design team to create the program and codes for the highest expression of this situation, of this reality. And download those codes, anchor in my first dimensional field, and anchor it in the 5th dimension where my patterns for this life are held. So we've chosen, we've cleared and healed, we've got a new program. It's anchored in the 1st dimension and laid in your landscape in the 5th. And we ask that it be activated under the care of my higher self and implementation team. So those are those, and so it's really important as you begin to design a plan about utilizing your energy, is that you understand the picture. You understand the picture. You're not afraid of it, not at all. You're capable. You have a teams beyond you that are perfectly capable and have these qualities. Not just anybody who can pop in. No, they must match the qualities you choose. And then the program is now designed, anchored, activated, and beginning to create that field of resonance for yourself and all to whom you're connected in love. We are not here to move you as I'm doing so much better than everybody else mentality. No, we are holding the future for yourself and everyone you love. Okay. Any questions? And then we're going to take a break. So if you have a question, you can just unmic, unmute, and ask. I can see Emma's hand.
You always say those to whom we are connected in love. But what about those to whom we are connected in kind of a neutral day-to-day kind of a thing, or if we go into an office every day or whatever? I mean, maybe this is like silly and picky, but it seems to exclude, and I just wondered about that, and I've never remembered to ask.
On the galactic landscape, everyone's connected in love.
Oh.
We all came here because we loved. We
Okay.
all are here as volunteers because we love the entireness of all who are here. And even though in this earthly life, there's some we don't even know who they are, and they seem to be playing minor or major roles or upsetting roles. in a galactic landscape, we are connected to everyone in that energy of love or wholeness. Does that answer your question, Emma? So again, and it's good to have that question, because there's so many things that that is important to designate, because as we define a word here in our 3D world may not be what I'm meaning when I'm using it on the galactic landscape. So I appreciate the question. Any other questions? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 5-minute break. So at about 3, or no, not 3, but let's say that 3 after the hour, whatever the hour is for you, we'll be back. Does anyone need more time than 5 or 6? Okay. So we'll see you 3 after the hour. Bye, loves.
Hi, Risa. We can talk to each other when no one's on.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I've been thinking about you a lot.
I've been thinking about you too.
Yeah. It
I've
was
had
just so
one hell of a
great.
week.
It sounds like it. I'm sorry to hear about all that.
Crazy.
How long?
There's a reason that you have a week like that. It's so that you realize who you are, what's most
Yeah.
important to you.
Yeah.
So I had to go through it, I guess, and now I'm on the other side, which is great.
How long
So
has
what
this
about
whole
you?
thing, how long has this process been going on, if I may ask?
Oh my goodness. It seems like a lifetime, and it's really not. I started at UPenn with the heart transplant program in February. So it's not really all that long, but it's been a zillion tests. I mean, they know everything about my body, inside, out,
Right.
you name it.
Yeah.
They know everything that could possibly happen to me, how to deal with it, what could happen, what not. I mean, it's amazing everything that they know, and all the tests that I've had to go through. It's astonishing. But what I don't like is that they just don't tell you anything. It's just like you're up in the air for months, and I don't agree with that. I'm a human being,
Right. It's
It
an
shouldn't be
emotional
that
roller
way.
coaster, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Is
it
it,
is.
do they have like an estimate on what kind of a time frame you're looking at? Or is
Well,
that hard to do? It just depends
I
on.
only have one more test. Yeah, I only have one more test, and that's October 7th. So that's just around the corner. And then the results of that will probably take a week or so. And then my whole file will go before a 63 doctor and nurse committee, and they will make their decision. So my file had already been before a committee, and they wanted a couple of things done first, and that's why I'm now in this process. So it's very close to having it done. It looks like it probably will be done, but they're not saying, And so anyway, I'm just going to go through the process, and hopefully they'll say, yes, you can now be on the list. If they say no, there are 2 other hospitals in Philadelphia that are very good that I can go to. They'll just automatically collect all my files and send them right over to wherever I choose to go next. So it's not like the end of the world for me, which is good. But it's like, come on already, because I'm starting to feel different. What's happening to my body is happening faster now. So it's important for me to move forward.
Yeah. 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 Gosh. Well,
Yeah,
I'll keep
crazy,
you in my thoughts for sure. I hope it all goes smoothly for you on October 7th, you said? Okay.
Yeah, the 7th, I
I'll write
have to
that number
do
down.
a stress test. Thanks. The last time I had the stress test is what the original cardiologist used to say, you need a heart transplant. So I think I'll be okay. You,
Uh,
you know, because it shouldn't be any better than that. I'm sure it'll be
mm.
worse. So I should
But
be a shoo-in, but we'll see.
so it'd be like a full heart transplant,
Yes, I can't
not
do
like a part.
partials. I only
Okay.
have one small section of my heart that's not good. Everything in my body is great, except for this tiny little section of my heart, but they don't do portions of hearts. It just has to be a
Yeah.
whole new heart.
Would it be human, or would they? My friend's father, I think they put a pig heart in him. He's doing great.
Oh, wow, that's great. No, mine has to be, it can be a male heart or a female heart, but it has to be human.
Okay.
And have to be about my size and about my weight. And I'm O positive. So that's normal. That's very average.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be within 6 months probably that I can have that.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So 6 months, we can handle that. At least now you know what you're working with, right? Like the time zones, the time difference, timeline, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
As long as
Cool.
they
Good.
say yes, otherwise it'll take even longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I'm working really hard at trying to just keep neutral about everything, but it's so hard, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know it's easy for the negative stuff to creep in and take over. Negative thoughts and stuff.
I have a bunch of friends. I know. I have a bunch of friends that are like, have you talked to your rabbi? Have you done this? You know, all the negative stuff. And I'm like, listen, I'm not thinking about anything negative. It's all going to be positive. It's all going to work out. So you have to be on my team. So you have to remain positive, you know.
Yeah.
So do that, because I'm not taking on anybody negative or any negative situation. So it's like, if you can't be positive, come back later when it's all done.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, whoa.
I remember a really great quote that has stuck with me over the years. It's like, surround yourself with people who believe you can. I mean, it's so simple, really.
Yes.
And I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that, but then the decision was made for me. As Andrea was talking about, you know, what you want to call in and stuff, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm so focused on the grief of losing both of my parents that I forgot for a split second about my sister-in-law and my brother who've decided to disown me. So, and I'm like, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Keep that out. And she was a very dominant personality too. So I'm walking away from that. So.
Oh, everyone, are we back?
Hello,
Yeah, well,
we're back.
Okay, Risa and Denise, I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
Because I know you continued conversation, which was just really great. And I think some of it was maybe all, I wasn't here. I just heard some of it was might be extremely valuable. But because we're recording, do you want me to? No, it's okay.
I'm okay with it. It's Risa who probably had more personal.
I'm okay with it too.
Because I wasn't here to hear it all. A little bit that I heard is like, we say that into the group. So
sorry, Risa.
Okay, then I'll just.
It's okay.
Because it's only for this group in this class anyway, and it's not going to be used any other places. So
I'm an open book, as you'll see.
Okay.
I'm an ambassador. I'm an international ambassador, and people all over the world know what's going on with me. So I mean, it's fine with me.
That's true. I do know that about you. Okay, so y'all come back.
The more people that know, the more people can help me. So that's my take.
They can pray for me.
This kind of conversation, the impact that energy has on us, is not one that you can have out there in the world in many places. Even though there might be very energy sensitive people, we have so shut that off that you appear to be the crazy one, and then you walk away believing something's wrong with you, that you're all alone and isolated, and so it's really important to start having a space where you can talk about energy and how it's impacting you, and then share ideas. So, you know, what we have done a lot more in our past, in the lifetimes on this planet, is we have survived. The outsiders, I guarantee you, from very, very early on, like if we say the Neanderthals are an example of our first bodysuit people on the planet coming in on mission 600,000 years ago. Well, by 250,000 years ago, the outsiders had figured it out and figured out that the one in the female bodysuit was sensitive enough to tell their presence, that they're there, there they are. So what they did is begin targeting any soul in a female body, so that their body, which had been strong, boundaried, became weakened and attached. That's how they attached to the female body, by damaging it. So witch hunts, burns at the stake, discounting, raping, all are activities from the outsiders in specific plan to attach themselves and prevent female souls in the female bodysuit from doing the job we are here to do, which is to be sensitive and say, I know who you are. PTO, get them back to their home of origin. And that's been going on forever. Now we're in a different place right now, but we nevertheless have a lot of survival mentalities and crippling from that very system of domination that is pretty much the way the world has been functioning. So to survive, here's what we would do. You know, here's your sensitivity, and you go like, oh, something's wrong. Oh, there's a change, and you get alerted. Our brain does it just normally too, but in the body sensitivity of either physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or wherever it is, and it might be everywhere for some of you, it's like, whoa, you go on alert, high alert, but you haven't been taught what to do about it, and so you have to survive. And the survival mechanisms are very much like what the brain does. It's either we hide ourselves, we're going to put our shield around ourselves and we're going to crawl into a little tiny ball, or we're going to flee, we're going to get out of there, we're going to freeze and pretend we're not feeling, we're going to freeze that, or we're going to fawn. Okay, master, tell us what to do, we'll do it. And so my question for you to think about, and I'm going to put you into small groups, is what has been your way of dealing with your energy sensitivity up until now? It might be one of those 4 ways, it might be something different. What has been your way, what I'll call a default, and how would you like that automatic response to happen? How would you really like it to be? And I'm going to put that in the chat. Unfortunately, the chat will not follow you in, I don't believe. Does it follow you into the small rooms, Emma and Kelly?
No, it does not.
And so if you want to copy and paste that somewhere, or like, so that somebody can have that question, I'm going to put you in small rooms of probably 2 each. And because it's going to be a short little time, some will have 2 and some will have 3. And that's the question. What's your default? And what would you like the automatic to be? And the 4 ways are freeze, flee, fight, or fawn. I think I forgot fight in the last one. Freeze, flee, fight, or fawn. Okay, I'm going to put you in. You're going to go in automatically. We'll be there. Give each, we did a minute and a half, so you maybe have a sense of what that was in our sharing. So a minute and a half each. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes for this particular, maybe 6 in case you have 3. So some of you will have a little bit more time. The one with 3 will have just about the right amount of time. So I'll see you back here in 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Good nuggets.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
So here we are. I wanted to show you when I'm doing energy work. I'm going to share my screen again, and here is a little model of what I see as damage the different bodies. So I have at the top, because we have lived in survival longer than we've lived in thriving. Guarantee you that. Like, we know how to survive. We know how to tough it out. We know how to keep our mouths shut, etc., etc. But that's survival. The damage that has been done, and it's across the board, is amazing. So here I have listed on the left-hand side the different regions that we call our body: spiritual body, emotional body, mental body, and a physical body. That's right, listed right down there on the left-hand side. I'm doing this for Andrea mainly. So some of the impact comes from outsiders, some comes from hitchhikers, and some come from our karmic negative patterns. And what we have been working with is karmic negative patterns. There's not too many times or places where you're going to be, okay, how many hitchhikers do you have? What is a hitchhiker? What's the impact of the outsiders on you? Not a lot of people even deal with that. But here you are in an energy sensitive body that's probably escalated to ultra high. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, if you just close your eyes and just quietly ask your energy, 1 being not very high and 10 being high, where's your setting, your sensitivity setting? And if you want to, just one by one, verbalize. What's your setting at?
I'm at an 8.
Thank you, Emma.
7.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Okay.
I'm
8.
trying to sit at a 5.
8. Trying to get it at 5.
8.
8.
I feel
I've
like
got
I'm
it.
at a 9. This is Dana. I'm at a 9.
Yeah. Okay, now I'll let you mute again. Now, consider this. You are sensitive, like you are a sensitive, and you are hearing the bells ringing, and they're ringing at 7 to 8 to 9. Alarms going off 7 to 8 to 9. But you've been given no support, no language, no system. And all you've got is these bells ringing 7, 8, or 9, or even sometimes 10. What do you think that has done to your life? People, and you say to people, and if you said anything like that to people, like, man, this is da 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 da, they'll go like, look at you like, maybe you're mentally ill, lady. Anybody have that? Okay, so, but you see, it isn't that at all. It's about understanding what's going on. So here's my suggestion, because you're in charge. You are the master of this what's been a wild horse. And that wild horse, called your sensitivity, is a divine gift. It has purpose, but it needs you as 51% of the equation. And you've been maybe 1 because you didn't know. Maybe 2 or 3 because you've been surviving, so you've done something for sure. So what about a reality statement that says, my level of energy sensitivity is at 3, whatever number you want to get, as I learn and redesign how to use my divine gift. What about turning it down for a little while, even if it's just for a week? While you learn, that while you design a system, like if I were going to do something with my stove, my electrical stove, do you think I'm going to leave the electricity on while I mess with that stove to put in new burners or whatever needs to be done? It would be crazy. I would turn the energy off, unplug it, work with this new system of the stove, and then turn it back on again. So I'm suggesting that you might want to think about that my level of sensitivity is at 3 or 2 as I redesign and learn how to use my divine gift, because that's what this class is about. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we're going to stop screen sharing for a minute, if I can find the right button for that. I have your pictures in the way. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is we're going to do a little inner exercise. So find yourself in a place where you can just be still, take a breath. Your body is holding you. It's being supported. So there's nothing the body needs to do. It doesn't have to give you messages. Just calm the body. It's anchored and rooted to earth. Mother's holding us. And right now, you're a witness. You're a witness. And invite an aspect of yourself that's been maybe really painful or frightened or carrying some kind of emotion to be there in front of you, in your imagination, and get a sense of her there in front of you. And some of you will see her as a form. Some of you might see her as a color. All of you have a different way of interpreting the energy. I want you to get a sense of you in some discomfort there in front of you. And what is that aspect of yourself holding? What is the sense you get from her? And write it in your journal. And go back to that imaginary place, and there she is. She might be young, she might be old, but bring in a group of angels or mothers or grandmothers, whatever it is she needs, so that she's not alone. You hear her now. You hear her now. And bring in a group that will hold her. She doesn't have to escalate. And when that's done, I want you to look behind her. What is behind her? What do you sense or see or feel that's behind her? And write that down. And then again, stay in that imaginary place, and you're going to ask the energy that you feel or sense that's behind her. You're going to ask 3 times. That energy is to answer you. That energy behind her, you're going to ask, are you of my light? And be still and get yes or no answer. Are you of my light? One more time. Are you of my light? One more time. Are you of my light? And I want you to write down, I got 3 no's, I got 2 no's and a yes, I didn't get an answer. Whatever the answer was, write it down. Are you of my light? We're going to place that aspect of yourself that's given you this message into the arms of the divine good, so that that energy aspect of yourself can be moved to what's highest and best for her. She's given you the message. She does not have that job description anymore. We release her with love. Now you've gotten a message. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share screen again. That particular tool is really a tool to help you be aware, to begin to understand that what is being presented, who's behind that presentation. And what we see is that usually the outsiders show up as something dark, fierce, mean, I'm in charge, I'm God, for example, but I'm God, but I'm going to destroy you, the kind of thing. And that is an outsider here, number 2. And an outsider is from that. They have an agenda. Like I said, they are what they are. They're in the wrong place. We cannot have them in our world, or our world will continue to be destroyed. So recognizing that there are outsiders, and when you get a sense of that in whatever way you do, and this is one way, then that's when you call in the PTO. You can say deep 6C energy, which also calls in the PTO, because the PTO have the ability and the assignment to identify frequencies of outside agendas. So influence, broadcasting, forms, devices, there's a lot of different things they've created, but they have the assignment and ability to pull in, neutralize the energy, pull in the octopi tentacles, bring it all together, and move the entire package back to its home of origin. Now that's very different. Usually we have put it outside somewhere, but then it goes somewhere else on the planet. It cannot do that anymore, not with the PTO. So now you saw in this experience where outsiders were behind and causing the pain to stay in place, causing the lie to stay in place. Okay. Now there's another group that I'm going to tell you about, and it's important to know them because we want to have a good program for our energy. There are those who have made the death transition. Their body's dead, but they aren't dead. They're alive. Their souls are alive, and they stay earthbound. I don't call them earthbounds. I call them hitchhikers, because earthbounds wander around and bump into everybody's energy field and wonder why they're not listened to and why is somebody moving into my house, kind of thing. And it's very, very common for especially sensitives to have attracted these hitchhikers. And they may be attracted because of your pain, resonates with the pain they never healed on the planet, so they have a resonance with your pain. Now your pain, instead of being at a level 1 of yours, is now at 4 or 5 or 6 because you have some hitchhikers on there. When we make a death transition, and I'll just call it the body death transition, there is with every soul a team that has walked with them through life and is there to move them into their next place, whatever's best for them. But they aren't in charge. The soul's in charge. And so if the soul, I'm not going that direction. If I go into the light, I'm going to be punished. I don't believe all that stuff, so there is no light. Whatever it is, and they stay earthbound, their team has to wait until somehow they wake up and go like, oh, okay, I'm ready to move on. It's not intended that they hang around. It's intended they go into the light, do what they need to do, and then come back and visit if they want to, of course. But the earthbounds are kind of stuck. I suggest that part of your plan be to create a force field like 500 feet out. I don't care how far out you put it, that any hitchhiker, any earthbound that is attracted to your energy and comes and hits that shield, that is a request that says, I'm ready to move on to my next place, which is really what it is. They're just trying to figure out how to do it. And they think maybe you have the answer. And we spend a lot of time, some of us who are sensitive, helping them move on. It's not our job to help them move on. They've got a team. So a shield for hitchhikers, earthbounds, however far out you need to have it, that all hitchhikers, earthbounds are heard. That is their request. Please move me on. And it is done because their team is in place. Okay? Now, if the part, let's go back to the exercise we just did, and that part of yourself that was hurt, was injured, was scared because of the influence of the outsider or because what's going on in life, it triggers that old, any karma you bring in, and so that is handled with a different technique, and Deep Six will do that. So for example, that part that was in front of you, we got rid of what's behind it. PTO, get rid of that. Angels, tag and transform. Deep Six, move them to where they need to be. So 3 different kinds of requests for those particular energies. Okay? Kelly.
Question in regards to, so like recently I moved and I have this whole new brand new tribe of Indians that are willing to chat, which is fine. I mean, if I have access, I try to gain and garner whatever possibly if there's something, I try to figure out, is there something of value that I need to know now, or do I need to shut the door, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Shut the door. Same, I mean, it's like, so is there anything specific there?
Yeah. Yeah, moves right into this next screen. it might take a few sentences to get back to that, but this is where we're at. Being aware to whatever degree you're aware and you understand your sensitivity and how it shows up for you, or how it has shown up for you. How do you want it to use it in your career? Like, for example, I'll say my gift would probably be telepathy. I ask a question, the words are right there. I want to use it in my career, and I want to work with individuals who are ready to take action. I'm not going to use it as a psychic. I'm not going to use it as a clairvoyant. I'm not going to answer questions as where's my loved one, and when's dark and handsome coming into my world. So I defined how I wanted to use that gift in a career way. In my personal life, do I want to do that in my personal life? Nada. In my personal life, I might want to use it in a way that I know how to hold space. I know how to communicate with individuals, not about healing, but just about communication. Separate the two. Separate the two. Use it in the way you want to in a career. Use it the way you want to in your personal life. And when you have, because this pulling in that channel that's a secure channel with beings in the unseen who are spiritual guides and teachers who have the qualities that you're designing, then that's when you're able to say, for example, this is what I've done before, and so I'm just telling you from personal experience. An Indian chief showed up in a car. We were driving, and I was the passenger, and my friend at the time said, "There's somebody with us," and I asked, "Who's here?" You see, so I ask, "Who's here?" And it was like, here was this Indian chief sitting in the back seat. He said, "Why are you here?" "Because I want to have a conference with you." "Okay, got it. But I can't, this isn't a good place. And I really won't be in a solid place until X. Will that work for you?" "Absolutely, it will work for me." And he was gone until that place. And then I prepared the space. I said, "I'm ready when you are." He showed up. And I said, "What is it that what would you like from me?" "So why are you here? What do you need from me?" Don't read books about it. Learn to ask. So why are they there, Kelly? And what do they need from you? And then if they don't need anything from you and they're doing something, and you may want to say, "That's great. And so can we keep I want to put a wall here, not a brick wall, but some kind of a hazmat suit wall, because you're doing your thing. I really respect that. And I need to do my thing without interference." Does that help? Okay. So own your gift. I think we kind of did that, some reality statements about that last week. How does it show up for you? What is the alarm? What's the automatic alarm? And how do you want it to be different? Design it different with statements, with reality statements, putting through the reality shift. It's like you are designing a garden. It's your life of garden called sensitivity. I have one client years ago who was extremely clairvoyant and sensitive and psychic. She'd done it many, many, many lifetimes. She said, "I will not use my gift that way this lifetime." And she used it to make a living through the commodity market, stock market, and was an artist. So that was her choice. It's your choice. Why do you have it? And I've got it. I've got this horse. I've now got it home with me in my pasture, and I'm now going to work together to train it in a way that adds meaning to my life. The other thing I wanted to bring up is it's been very common to assume that and I think a lot of people set it up because we have been so turned off with our sensitivity, that we've said, okay, I think what I'm going to need is like a 2x4 on the head to be awake because I'm so numbed out. So our body has taken hits, and we've assumed we've had to take that energy of other people and move it through our body for it to be healed. No, no. What about creating the most magnificent healing space with maybe a waterfall so that you energize that a healing space outside of your body? That those people who for whatever reason are drawn to your attention and could use that cleansing, it's you give the decree. You put them in that place. You give the decree. You let the water do its work. You check in periodically. Otherwise, you become hooked, draining other people's energy through you. Another parasitic model. No, create, 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 fine tune it. And you're the one who speaks and decrees. Someone said something about being drained at the end. You know, sometimes I would be doing like 6 or 8 physical sessions a day. Aren't you drained? I was never drained. Because I knew the law. If I was drained, there was something out of whack for me, because it's not intended to drain me. And it's not intended to drain you. And your sensitivity is not intended to destroy your life. It's intended to guide your life and call forth your authority voice in whatever way you choose. Okay, I'm going to open for any questions that you might have. Anybody got some idea thing they want to say as we get to closure here?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have some ability that I haven't developed. However, people and animals and whatever else, spirits, seem to be drawn to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care if they're drawn to me or not, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to develop that or to control that in any way. I just go through whatever I am doing, and they just come to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had, through a career, I've had to go to farms and whatever, and animals have actually climbed on top of me, and whatever. I mean, I just can't stop it, but wherever I am, I get people and I get children and I get animals. I mean, it's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and all the time. And I don't know exactly how to control that in any way. And do you have any recommendations, or can you guide me somehow to do that, control that? Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. The place I would start would be, again, being able to ask questions and get answers in whatever, I don't know how you get answers, but we all get answers some way, even if it's just a matter of opening the book and there's the answer. And if you need, I ask any of us to kind of work with you, any of you, we can. But what I would do if I were working with you as a client, I would tune in, I would ask for your higher self and team to be present. I want answers from them. And I would ask, what is the energy that is drawing people? Is it the energy of pain? Is it the energy of clarity? Is it the energy of calling forth? I mean, there's a reason. What is that reason? Is there a common reason for all of them? Like the hitchhikers, it's a common reason. They're wandering, they want help. So there's a common reason. So I can say, for a little while, was willing to have a meeting every day at a certain time for hitchhikers who were looking for where they needed to go. And after 3 days, that became overwhelming. It was like hundreds. And I went, I don't even need to do that. See, so what is it about? And you have to ask the energies and your team, what is that about? And what is it that they're coming for? Are they asking for something? Because then you can say, okay, how do I then, is it something I have that you want to keep doing? Is it a contract you've made? So it is important you do it. Then how can you then design it so it happens in a way that doesn't impact you in a negative way? If that is that, and kind of that's a general answer, but that's what I would say. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else got some? So second class 3, third class next week. So it'll be fun to see, you know, what to whatever degree you can be again designing, understanding yourself better, making different choices about things that would be you know, that would be the thing to walk with this week. One thing and I'll send out a handout, you know, with the link to the recording, same link I already sent you. Realize that energy's moving in you and outside there around you. Some of that energy is housekeeping energy. Like when you make a whole bunch of energy shifts, the energy, the housekeeping dust that most people don't feel, you may feel and be sneezing all over the place, you know, metaphorically. And so salt and soda baths are really good when there's a lot of energy movement. I would say keep yourself in a guardian circle cocoon, in a hazmat suit under certain situations. Try out anything else that you know and bring that back to us next week. I'm sending out a coupon because Susan here has done some incredible sprays that are they're alchemy sprays and it's not about making the room feel better. It creates an energetic feel, like a presence. So I'm sending this out so that anybody who wants to try that's a 20% off coupon. Just, you know, take good care of yourself. If you need to rest. If you feel exhausted or out of balance in any way, you might want to stop and say, is this energy that's putting me to sleep of the light? You see, we beginning to understand and discern what energy you're feeling, where it's coming from. Is it mine? Is it hitchhikers? Is it of the light? You know, it's a learning process, and some of you are well on your way. I already know that, and I'm speaking to the choir, but that's what this class is about. Okay.
Thank you. That's really helpful, Sharon.
So it'll be, let's see where we end up next week, and what's been your experience. If you have, I haven't created a Facebook for this group. I don't know that I will, but that's okay. We talk when we're together. I guess that's where we're at right now. So anything you want to say, pop off your mute, and here we are.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Yeah, everybody have a wonderful week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Next time.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.